Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that's going to sting a little, but it'll set you free if you let it. No one gives a sh*t. No one is coming to save you. No one cares about your sad story. No one's lying awake at night, thinking about your dreams, your goals, your pain, or your potential. Harsh, maybe, but it's the truth. And it's also the key to taking back your life. The moment you realize that no one's coming to fix your life, no one's handing you a roadmap, and no one truly owes you anything, that's the exact moment you take back your power. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Radical ownership is the only thing that will move your life forward. We've been conditioned to wait for permission, for support, for validation. But the longer you wait for the world to care, the more time you waste not living up to your full potential. When you understand that no one gives a sh*t about your excuses, your past, or your fears, you stop outsourcing your power. Blaming your circumstances doesn't change them. Pointing fingers at your parents, your boss, your lack of opportunity, or your partner, none of that puts food on the table or results in progress. It only keeps you stuck. You can keep hoping that someone will recognize your pain and give you a break, or you can recognize your pain yourself and use it as fuel. Taking ownership isn't about pretending life is fair. It's not. And it never will be. Life is complex, unpredictable, and sometimes brutally hard. But that doesn't change the fact that your life is your responsibility. Fully, entirely, always. You can't control how you were raised. You can't change what happened to you, but you can absolutely decide what happens next. You are not responsible for your trauma, but you are 100% responsible for your healing. That shift in mindset is where your power begins. That's when you start turning the chaos into clarity. That's when excuses get replaced with action. Radical ownership means waking up every single day and saying, "It's on me," and not in a self-blaming way. Not in a way that adds guilt or shame, but in a way that says, if I want different results, I have to take different actions. If you're tired of being broke, own it. If you're not in shape, own it. If you're stuck in a toxic pattern, own it. If your mindset is dragging you down instead of lifting you up, own that too. Because until you take full ownership, you remain powerless, and being powerless is the fastest way to a wasted life. Most people don't succeed not because they lack talent or time, but because they never fully own their role in their own downfall. You can't build a better future if you're still blaming your past. Ownership is the bridge from why me to watch me. It's the difference between living in victim mode and becoming the architect of your own life. And let me be clear, taking ownership doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. It means you take charge of finding solutions. You take initiative, you get resourceful, you stop waiting to be rescued, you stop expecting the world to slow down for your healing, because it won't, and that's not a reason to be bitter, it's a reason to be better. When you take ownership, you stop reacting and start creating. You stop spiraling and start climbing. You realize that while no one may give a sh*t about your excuses, people will eventually respect your results. But you don't do it for them, you do it for you. You start learning. You start building skills. You face what's hard instead of running from it. You develop discipline. You develop habits that move the needle forward every single day. And guess what? That's when the world starts noticing. That's when people start asking how you did it. But by then, you don't care what they think, because you already learned that no one cares until you've already done the thing. You have one life, one shot. No one else is responsible for making it count but you. You want freedom. It starts with owning your choices. You want peace. It starts with owning your thoughts. You want change. It starts with owning your behavior. There's nothing more liberating than knowing you don't have to wait for anyone to care. You can start now. You can mess up. You can get back up. And you can keep going, because it's all on you. And that's a gift, because if it's all on you, then you don't need anyone else's permission to transform everything. So take the wheel, own your mess, own your greatness, own your direction, because no one gives a sh*t. And that's exactly why you should. Pain is life's most honest teacher. It doesn't sugarcoat, it doesn't wait for your permission, and it doesn't care about your comfort zone. It comes in when things fall apart, when people walk away, when plans fail, when dreams collapse. And it stays until you listen. Most people try to run from pain. They numb it, deny it, distract themselves from it. But the truth is, the longer you avoid your pain, the louder it screams. And the moment you decide to face it, that's when the transformation begins. No one gives a sh*t about the excuses you wrap around your pain. You may have every reason in the world to be hurt. You may have been betrayed, abandoned, overlooked, or pushed down, but pain doesn't care about what's fair. It cares about what you'll do next. You can either let it define you or refine you. Most people think pain is something to escape, but pain is trying to show you something. It reveals what you've been ignoring. It exposes the areas you need to grow. It shows you who's real and what's fake. And if you're paying attention, it teaches you what comfort never will: strength, resilience, self-respect, clarity, and discipline. You don't grow in the good times, you grow in the trenches, that breakup. It taught you to stop settling, that failure. It taught you to get serious about your craft, that rejection. It redirected you to something better, that season of loneliness. It forced you to face yourself and figure out who you really are. But here's the part people don't talk about. Pain is necessary, but it's not enough. You can suffer for years and never evolve if you don't choose to learn. Pain doesn't automatically turn into power. You have to make the decision to use it. You have to choose to extract the lesson. You have to sit in the discomfort, ask the hard questions, and be honest about the role you played. Stop pretending that your struggle gives you a free pass to stay stuck. It doesn't. Pain is a starting point, not a finish line. Life doesn't reward you for being wounded. It rewards you for what you do with the wound. You want healing, take responsibility. You want growth. Let go of the victim story. You want change. Stop telling yourself that because it hurts, you can't move forward. You can, you must. Because no one is going to come hand you the life you dream about just because you've suffered. That might sound cold, but it's true. Everyone's dealing with their own pain, and while empathy matters, your healing is still your job. The people who rise in life aren't the ones who had the easiest road. They're the ones who decided that their pain wouldn't be the end of their story. You are allowed to feel, you are allowed to cry, you are allowed to be angry, but don't let those emotions chain you. Let them be your fuel. Let the pain sharpen you. Let it drive you to never go back to who you were. Use it to build boundaries, raise your standards, and clarify your vision. Pain is a mirror. It shows you what you've been avoiding. It shines a light on the people and patterns that no longer serve you. If you're stuck, if you're hurting, if you're frustrated, it's not a sign that you're failing. It's a signal that something in your life needs to change, and you are the one responsible for making that change. So ask yourself, what is your pain trying to teach you? Is it teaching you that you need to stop waiting for validation, that you need to develop discipline, that you need to walk away from what's no longer aligned with your purpose? The moment you stop numbing your pain is the moment you start hearing the truth. And yes, the truth will hurt, but it will also heal you, because once you learn the lesson, you don't have to repeat the pattern. Once you see the trap, you can stop walking into it. Don't be ashamed of your scars. They are proof that you felt, that you tried, that you survived. But don't just survive. Thrive. Let the pain be a catalyst, not a cage. Let it fuel your purpose, not feed your fear, because here's the thing, pain is coming either way. You can choose the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. You can choose the pain of facing your flaws or the pain of staying stuck in cycles. But one way or another, pain is part of the process, so don't run, lean in, learn from it, grow through it. Let your pain become the thing that wakes you up, not the thing that breaks you down, because the most powerful people you know, they didn't avoid pain, they harnessed it, and now it's your turn. You can have all the potential in the world, all the talent, the dreams, the goals, the drive, but if it never turns into action, if it never becomes results, it means nothing. People don't respond to what you say you're going to do. They don't care how hard your life is. They don't get inspired by your excuses or your intentions. They judge you right or wrong by what they see. And what they see is what you've actually built, not what you've promised. This world moves fast. Nobody's waiting for you to get it together. And the truth is, your results are the only language the world really listens to. You can talk about your vision for years, But if you don't produce something, if you don't deliver, you'll get passed by. That's not cruel, that's life, it's not personal. It's just the way the game works. We live in a culture obsessed with potential. He has so much talent. She's got all the tools. They're going to be great one day. And yet, most of those people never actually make it. Why? Because they think potential is the destination when it's just the starting point. Potential is nothing but unused power. It's raw energy. It's not enough to be capable. You have to be consistent. It's not enough to have big dreams. You have to be willing to do the hard, boring, unsexy work every single day that turns those dreams into results. You don't get rewarded for thinking about going to the gym. You get rewarded when you go. You don't become a leader by reading about leadership. You become a leader by making decisions when it's hard and standing by your integrity when it costs you. Results aren't built in your imagination. They're built in your routines. We all want recognition, right? We want people to see us, appreciate us, clap for us. But no one claps for what you might do someday. They clap when you've done something worth clapping for, and here's the hard part. No one's clapping while you're building. There are no standing ovations for discipline, no applause for choosing focus over fun. But those silent seasons where you grind in the dark and produce when no one's watching, that's where real success is born. If you're struggling with motivation, understand this: motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like a mood, but results stay, results compound, results become your reputation. They speak when you're silent. They open doors long after the excitement has worn off. You've got to make peace with the fact that your feelings don't matter as much as your follow-through. You might not feel like showing up. You might feel tired, unmotivated, uninspired, but the ones who win are the ones who act despite how they feel. They show up on the days they don't want to. They do the work when no one's watching. They stay disciplined even when it's not paying off yet, because they know that eventually the results will speak for themselves. And here's the other side of that truth: you can't fake your results. You can fake confidence. You can fake success online, but you can't fake what you've built. Results expose the truth. They're the scoreboard of your habits, your decisions, your effort, and your mindset. They show whether you've been committed or just talking about being committed. If your results don't match your goals, it's not the world's fault. It's not the algorithm. It's not your parents or your friends or your job. It's the gap between what you say and what you do. It's the space between your intentions and your execution. Close that gap and your life will change. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Believe in your ability to produce results. Stop waiting to be discovered. Go build something that can't be ignored. Stop posting about your goals and start producing outcomes that make people stop and take notice. That doesn't mean the journey will be easy. It won't. You'll fail, you'll mess up, you'll start over, you'll question yourself. But if you keep showing up, keep learning, keep improving, eventually you'll have something real, something undeniable. Something no one can take from you. Results. The hardest truth you'll ever face is this: you are the one standing in your own way, not your past, not your parents, not your job, not the government, not your friends. It's a tough pill to swallow, but once you do, it becomes the most empowering realization of your life. Because if you're the one in your own way, then that means you have the power to move. We spend so much time blaming external things. I would start the business, but I don't have the money. I'd get in shape, but I'm too busy. I'd be successful, but no one supports me. Listen, there are people out there who have had less time, less support, less money, and more pain, and they still made it. Why? Because they didn't wait. They didn't look outside for someone to fix it. They looked in the mirror. It's easy to point fingers. It's comfortable. It keeps you from taking responsibility, but it also keeps you stuck. Every time you say, "It's not my fault," you hand your power away, and if you keep doing that, eventually you'll convince yourself that you're just a victim of circumstance, and there's no worse place to live than that. You've got to realize that your limitations live in your mind, not in your reality. Your fear of failure, it's just a story. Your doubt, just a thought. Your insecurity, a belief system you've built around old wounds. None of it is permanent unless you allow it to be. The problem is that most people don't challenge those thoughts. They accept them as truth, and then they live down to them. You say you're not disciplined. You say you can't change. You say you're not that type of person. And every time you say it, you reinforce it. Every time you shrink, every time you procrastinate, every time you settle, you prove yourself right. You build your own cage, and the crazy part is you're the one holding the key the entire time. Getting out of your own way starts with getting honest with yourself, brutally honest. Where are you lying to yourself? Where are you making excuses? What story are you telling that keeps you from taking the next step? Sometimes it's perfectionism. You want everything to be perfect before you start, so you never start. Sometimes it's fear of judgment. You're afraid people will laugh, criticize, reject you, so you stay silent. Sometimes it's fear of success. You're scared of who you might have to become, what you might have to give up, or whether you're even worthy. So you self-sabotage. None of those fears go away by avoiding them. They go away by action, by facing them, by doing the thing anyway. You don't wait until you're confident to start. You build confidence by starting. You don't wait for the fear to vanish. You learn to take steps even when it's there. And the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a big break. You don't need someone to come save you. What you need is to get out of your own damn way long enough to take the first step. Then take the second, then the third. That's how momentum works. It doesn't require you to feel ready. It just requires you to move. Every person who has achieved anything worth talking about had moments when they were scared, when they felt like giving up, when they didn't know what the hell they were doing, but they pushed anyway. They faced their resistance, their ego, their limiting beliefs, and they pushed through. You have to become that person, the one who shows up even when no one is cheering, the one who commits even when it's uncomfortable. The one who doesn't let their feelings dictate their future, because feelings are temporary, but regret, that lasts. If you don't get out of your own way, you'll wake up one day and realize you talked yourself out of the life you wanted. You'll realize that no one was holding you back but you. You'll realize that the fear, the doubt, the excuses, they were just smoke and mirrors, and by the time you see it clearly, the opportunity may be gone. Don't let that happen. Your dreams are not going to chase you. Your purpose isn't going to wait, and your future self is either going to thank you or resent you. The choice is yours, so stop making it complicated. Stop trying to control every outcome. Stop telling yourself stories about why it won't work. Just take the step, make the move, start before you feel ready, because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is you. Move. Most people stay stuck not because they don't have potential, not because they don't have resources, and definitely not because they don't have dreams, but because they're waiting for someone to notice, someone to care, someone to give them permission to go after what they want. But here's the truth. Everyone is too busy living their own lives, fighting their own battles, and navigating their own chaos to sit around worrying about your goals. And that's not a reason to quit. That's the exact reason you need to step up and show up every single day with no applause, no recognition, no external motivation. The reality is this: no one is coming to remind you of your dreams. No one is going to knock on your door and ask if you've worked on your goals today. No one is going to hold your hand through the process. You have to do it yourself. You have to decide that what you want is worth showing up for, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when no one is watching. Success is built in the quiet moments. It's built in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the reps no one sees, in the choices no one applauds. You don't get rewarded just for trying. You get rewarded for what you've actually done over time. And the key to getting there: consistency, not motivation, not hype, not inspiration, just showing up again and again and again until it becomes part of who you are. You've got to silence the noise. The world is full of distractions. Social media, opinions, negativity, comparison. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you're behind or thinking you need someone's validation before you take action, but none of that matters. You don't need more likes, you need more action. You don't need approval, you need follow through. The people who win aren't the ones who had the loudest start. They're the ones who kept going when it got quiet. They're the ones who kept showing up when the novelty wore off. When no one cared, when no one noticed, when no one was patting them on the back, that's when greatness is born. It's not glamorous, there are no instant results, but over time the consistency compounds. 1 hour a day becomes 365 hours in a year. One habit turns into a new identity. One small win builds momentum for bigger ones, and before you know it, people start noticing, not because you told them, but because your life looks different. Your results speak, but you can't fake consistency. You can't trick yourself into growth. You have to earn it through discipline, and discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being committed. It's about showing up even when you're tired, even when you're uninspired, even when progress feels invisible. Stop telling yourself you need to feel ready. That's a lie. Readiness is a myth. The truth is, you become ready by doing the thing. By taking messy, uncomfortable, imperfect action over and over until you stop needing to convince yourself and start proving it to yourself. Most people think they need motivation to start, but the opposite is true. You need action to create motivation. You get fired up when you follow through. You start believing in yourself when you keep promises to yourself. You build confidence not by thinking, but by doing. And the beautiful part, once you learn to show up without applause, you become unstoppable, because now your consistency isn't driven by ego, it's driven by purpose. You're not chasing attention, you're chasing growth. You don't need someone to clap for you anymore. You've learned to clap for yourself. This is where real power lies, in the discipline of showing up, in doing what needs to be done even when no one's watching. In trusting that the work you're doing in silence will one day create noise so loud the world won't be able to ignore it. So don't wait for support. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for someone to care. Care enough about yourself, your life, and your future to show up whether anyone's paying attention or not. Let your consistency be louder than your words. Let your habits define your direction. Let your quiet work build a life so powerful that the results speak long before you ever have to. Because if no one gives a *T right now, good, that's your advantage. While they're distracted, you're building. While they're sleeping, you're sharpening. While they're scrolling, you're grinding. And in the end, when the results show up, it'll be clear. You never needed applause. You just needed to show up every single day. Let me leave you with this. If there's one truth you take from this entire message, let it be this. No one gives a *T. And that's your greatest power, because once you stop expecting the world to care, you start showing up for yourself. You stop looking for sympathy and start building strength. You stop waiting for applause and start chasing progress. You stop blaming and start owning, and that shift, that's when your life truly begins. You don't need approval, you don't need permission, you don't need the perfect timing, the perfect past, or the perfect plan. What you need is radical responsibility. What you need is to feel the pain and use it as fuel. What you need is to turn your potential into proof. What you need is to get out of your own way and show up consistently, even in silence, because while no one may care right now, your results will make them care later. So let them sleep, let them doubt, let them scroll you rise, you commit. You grind, not because they're watching, but because you are. And when it's all said and done, you'll look back not for applause, but with pride. Not because the world believed in you, but because you believed in yourself when no one else did. No one gives a *T, and that's exactly why you must.